Well, hello everybody. I bought an Ender. It's not what you think. Alright. Make sure I've got this up. I'm not in front of the computer I normally use. Streaming computer's off to another side, so see if I can actually see actual comments. There we go. See if I can get these side by side so I can see both at the same time. Alright, there we go. So, hope y'all can hear me okay. So, I bought an Ender 3. And I know y'all are asking, go ahead, scoot up here in my chair, get comfy. Why? Why in 2022? Is that where we are now? Yeah, would you buy a 4-year-old printer? And it wasn't because I wanted an Ender. It was because I want a switch wire. I was going to build a Voron, but through a series of unfortunate events, not going to have the cash for that, so I thought, what was our next cheapest step? I guess we'll do a conversion. And I thought about converting one of my other printers, but I don't want to take it down for this, which is probably going to be a long project. So I looked online and I found this guy. I paid $100, which is, I'm sure some of you are saying, kind of silly, since you can go get a brand new Ender for $100 at Micro Center. Yes, I know, everyone's told me, but I already have an account and I don't have anybody else local that I could use to sign up for that. So I found this one online on Craigslist, $100. It was about an hour away on between train and bus, which was fun. And I actually got this from, make sure you can see this, Code Ninjas, which is a after-school program which teaches children to code and also 3D print, apparently, and some other things. This had been their first printer, and they'd had some good luck with it, but then they were having just way too many issues, which I can understand. For a school with small children, you're really spending a lot of time just dealing with, you know, the slicing, understanding the different filaments. They just don't have time for that, so they sold it. They said it worked, and I went up there, took a look at it, it turned on, everything seemed to be there, so I bought it. Took it apart in the parking lot, and I brought it home. Made it all the way. I did break this one limit switch. Gotta lean over so I can see my screen. So $7 later off of Amazon, then 24 hours the next day, I had a new limit switch. Turned it on, dialed it in, and it printed absolutely fine. They had thought there was some kind of problem with the hot end. I did not find any problem with the hot end, not till a little later. But for about a week, it printed absolutely fine. It did have some issues. It is an Ender 3. So the first issue was this mat, which you can tell someone got a little too close at times. Make sure I can see this. Yeah, you can kind of see it. That square right there. There's another spot right in here where, you know, it happens. It looks like they got too close, even down here on the lead line. They just kind of messed it up. And, you know, it happens. We've all had these flexible mats. You can see there's several creases and punches where the nozzle's gone down way too close. So get rid of it. So the first upgrade I did out of the boxes, and what we're going to do on this stream is I am actually just going to replace a bunch of the basic parts, which I have here, to give it a little better functionality, be a little more even. We've got just a handful of little bitty parts that are the standard stuff people replace, and I figured that would be a good time to do it. So the first upgrade I did is I went ahead and I had a spare set of the Silicone Spacers. From previously I had ordered them for a different printer and Amazon had lost them, and then shipped me another set, and then of course the very next day the first set showed up. So they've been sitting in a drawer forever, but seemed like a perfect time to use them, and they went on fine. Works fine, absolutely solid. Once again it was printing absolutely perfect. Next thing I did was I went ahead and got a PEI powder coated flex sheet. This is generic. Got a little bit of glue stick on it just because I was having some issues from the get-go even after washing it. Off of Amazon, it was $20. The magnet that came with it, have not used it. I have this exact same sheet on another printer, Tronxy X3, slightly smaller, 220 by 220. This is the 235 by 235, and it has just been a godsend. It's absolutely perfect. Have not had to use glue stick on that one over there, but honestly, this actually works really good. Just a little bit, and just rubbed it out into the holes, and it's absolutely perfect. So did not have to use the mat that came with it. It is about 3 times thicker than the magnet that's on there, but it's solid and it hasn't moved. So we'll hold on to this until it feels like we really need it. Put it back here so we can drop it later. Actually, go ahead and stick it in the drawer. So those were the first 2 upgrades I made, and it was printing absolutely fine. Then I started to have a series of issues with, we can drop this down, with the Bowden tube. And this is all within 2 weeks. I've only had this printer about 3 now. So it started popping loose right here, coming out of the Bowden coupler. And I went ahead and put the little clips on it. Apparently they did not have the clips on it when I got it. That did not help. It eventually just started popping all the way out. So the tube was worn out. Pulled it out, had some spare, went ahead and replaced that. Of course, went ahead and cut the zip tie, so I'd already printed these little clips for this upgrade, and they're on there. And then let's see, second problem was it started slipping on this end. Both sides of the coupler have been replaced. I've already pulled this off. Found only one of the screws were holding this original hot end heat block onto the actual heat break. I know there's 2 screws on that. Some people say take those 2 screws out. Some people swear they live there. I'm gonna leave them in there. I had a spare, so I went ahead and put it in there. Previous upgrades they have done, they actually replaced the plastic extruder with the metal one. Unfortunately, this is the model with the press fit actually gear onto the stepper motor, so could not replace it. It looks like they just left it. Seemed to fit. I do have it. It appears to be the exact same size, so I'm just going to go with it for now. Let's see, other upgrades that I have done. Oh yeah, it now has Clipper. So I went ahead and replaced the firmware, had a spare Raspberry Pi, and threw Clipper on this guy. That took about 4 days of playing with. I've actually done the acceleration tuning with the heat bed and the hot end with an 80XL. No point making a video on that. There are tons of videos out there. I referenced Nero's. So let's get to the actual upgrades we're going to do. And this video is not sponsored by Polymaker, but this is the Polymaker that I won from the actual Polymaker YouTube channel. Thank you very much, Nick, over there at Polymaker. And every single thing has printed absolutely perfect. Probably one of my new favorite filaments. Alright, what we have, pieces wise, we have tensioner for the end. Let's see, make sure we can see that. Tensioner for the end. We have a new fan nozzle for cooling parts. Hopefully that's going to fit. I have not test fit any of these pieces. We have tensioner for the X. We have replacement motor mount for the single Z motor, which is slightly out of alignment, which everybody knows about. We have a web camera that's going to go on at some point. We have a leftover webcam mount for that camera. We'll have to find someplace. We have a Raspberry Pi 2 running the latest clipper and mainsail with the little case that I found. This is a very nice and compact case. It printed absolutely perfectly. The only issue I've had is when trying to get it in here, it actually caught on the actual camera cable and pulled the actual connector all the way off. Just the little black part that moves. I was able to get it back in there, but for one, I'm not sure how do you get the cable in there. Then I guess use tweezers to press it down into place. So we're just gonna go with the USB camera. Works fine. All right, we have a BL Touch mount because this will eventually get a BL Touch, which I have a spare one here. I still need to fix the connector on, but we'll go ahead and mount it and get it on there out of the way. We have the Z-Rod filament protector that actually has the Bowden tube mount that will go right back here. It keeps the filament from rubbing on the lead screw, and hopefully that should make it a little easier too, because we know about that tight path that comes around here from the filament. Alright, we have a little guide. We may use, we may not, probably not once that other one goes on there. And we have a ton of cable clips. So we'll probably use them at some point. Alright, so we can get rid of the box. And possibly a filament oiler. Went ahead and had it. Polymaker box over here. So, first tip I can give you on anything like this, if you have anything that actually has 2020 mounts, it's so hard to see what's happening. I have a light right in front of the monitor where I should be able to see what's going on, and to my left I can see the streams, but of course they're a little bit delayed. So anything with mounts like that, before trying to fit it in here and just end up breaking it into location and then having a very bad day, I went ahead and grabbed a spare piece of 2020 that I have and just dry fit it and pulled it through a few times. And this was very rough and tough the first time. It was nice I could go this direction. That's actually what I did, got it down on there, then had to pull it through. But doing that 3-4 times on each one of these completely cleaned up anything that was on there, and now it slides absolutely perfect. So that should make it much easier to go in there. So I'm gonna get rid of this piece of 2020, and let's get some coffee. Hopefully this is all working. This is first time streaming on Twitch. I'm also hitting some other services. Get this stuff out of the way. First thing we're going to do is we're going to adjust the eccentric nuts that are here on the X carriage and the Z carriage and the Y. I can tell just from the few weeks I've used it, I keep getting a buildup around the edges. They are way too tight. They are way too tight. So we're going to try and loosen those up just a bit first off the bat. And then we'll get into actually doing some upgrades. Alright, we have a 10mm here. Let's see if we can do this without removing the cover. Oh wow, look at that. And we're way too loose. There we go. Well, it seems nearly perfect. Definitely flowing better. Alright, second one is here on the Z. go. That definitely feels better. All right, he's down here. I'm not sure which side they're on. Wow, the wheels down here, I can definitely tell, are way too tight. So let's lay it on its side, not break everything. Come forward with this. Oh yeah, that's gonna be the ticket. Get this where y'all can see what I can do in here. There we go. That's definitely loose now. Come back into it. Still loose. Oh, it feels pretty good. Let's get the back. And all I'm really doing is just shaking this guy back and forth. I can definitely see the rear needs to be tightened. There we go. Ugh. Look at all that stuff on there. It's just eating the edge of those wheels up. Bleh. Oh, lost a clip. This is an Ender 3 Pro with the 4.2.2 controller board, 32-bit, but it does have the 4988 drivers, so it is a little noisy. Once again, why would you buy an outdated printer? It's because I want the frame. So after we do all these upgrades to this guy, then we'll start the research phase for doing the Ender 3 to switch wire conversion. Of course, we're going to have to get some... Oh wow, that's so much better. Some linear rails. Let's try this. Oh yeah, everything's so much better. And with Clipper, this thing has been printing at 100 millimeters a second. Absolutely perfect. So... never realized just how kicked this guy is. So let's go ahead and start getting these pieces off. Hopefully they all fit. May hit some roadblocks, fully expect it. But that is why I went ahead and printed all these parts up front so I can fail on camera with you guys. And rules for Allen wrenches. It is always the last one you grab out of the pile. There we go. Not totally last, but close. If I have a better view for this. There we go. There we go. Now you got an overhead and a side view. Go and loosen these screws up. Actually, I meant to start this stream yesterday, but have not turned this laptop on in a while, and it had 24 hours of Windows updates. Is this thing on T-nuts, or is it just screwed in there? Looks like it's just screwed in there. Oh no, come back. Oh yeah, they just screw right in there. Wasn't expecting that. There we go. Ah, it's 2 half pulleys. That answers that. I believe I do have some spare pulleys I could put on there that are a little different, but skip that. Let's see if this guy fits first. Yep, appears to line up, fits into place. Hopefully there's going to be enough length on this cable, or on this belt. Let's see how this is going to fit. I'm going to take these 4 screws, reuse them. This guy comes off. Are these going to fit in there? Oh yes, just perfect. Alright, so we need... I guess we could use that longer screw, but that's pretty long. Let's see what we got here. It is warm in here today. Ooh. Spacers. That definitely looks like a 5. I think everything I have is going to be too long. Ooh. Is that a 4? Oh, it looks like 4mm. May not have anything compatible. I might just have to use that long one. That is not pretty. Threes are not going to fit. So threes and 5 fit. Nope. It's definitely 4mm. So we will have to use this long, ugly bolt for now, and then replace it later, or cut it short. It's going to work going to the sides. Looks like it will. Not the best solution, but it'll get us rolling. Let me see if I have some washers over there, just by chance. Nope, those are M3s, need M4s. Good to know. Every other printer I've had has been M3s, M5s. Apparently Ender is on the M4s. And it is warm in here. Whew. Yep, definitely gonna have to cut that down. So it looks like we'll be buying some N4s. Oh, and we're about to screw up. That would have really sucked. Let's see how difficult this is going to be. Alright, that's in. Make sure we're going the right direction. Yes, we are. That is not going to be pretty. And the other problem being it has to be installed in here in the process. So let's see how we're going to do that. Probably do this. Again, this is all experimental. None of this may fit. It definitely has to live in there. Let's get one in. I'm just gonna pull this off the back, give us a little extra. sure there's probably an easier way to do this. I do not want to disassemble the whole heat bed just for one belt. Looks like we got it. Make sure we got enough to go back over on the back. That's definitely a tight fit. Having to work this over the gear a little bit. There we go. Just gonna get this nut in here. Make sure the pretty side's out on this guy. Wow, that bolt is ugly. Should have measured my bolts. Oh well, anything worth doing is worth doing 3 times. We will order some N4s in various lengths and then we will have them. Because apparently this is going to be an issue. I was so concerned with this tensioner fitting, I never even thought about the size of the bolts. Hopefully my mic is loud enough for all you guys. I cannot hear it at all. Now we're getting down in there. There we go. These guys back in here. Oh no! I am going to spill all of this. Oh, feels like it's hitting the pre-drilled holes. There it goes, definitely. For some reason, let's get the other side first. Make sure we don't cross thread any of these. No going back from that. go. Lines up a little better. That one's definitely threading in absolutely perfect. Get the second one in here. Yep, looks like we're back. We're just lost the other site that shall not be named. Alright, so that's an issue. I do not have a bolt. Original design files did not mention anything about that. I don't think I'm gonna have a bolt that will work for that. Was not expecting that. I was really expecting more issues with the other belt tensioner. I think everything I have is going to be way too big. Yeah, that's definitely too big. Harley bolts in here. Nothing of what I actually need though. Oh, what do we have here? That might. Hey, that fits. Now the question is, do we have a nut? Let's see, lengthwise. That looks just about perfect. We have a nut that fits on there. I think there is one right there. There we go. Let's see if this is actually going to work. Since I have not disassembled this whole hot end, I do not know how these belts go through. Oh, they just pull out the side. That's a nice little design feature. Maybe. Actually, what we're going to do is loosen this guy up. Should give us enough play. There we go. Check the condition. It's looking good. So we get this through. Parts. It's all the way in. Adjustment nut on here. Make sure we can get this back in here. Oh, this is going to be tight. Go. Get all the way in there. So I want to have just enough. This is going to be painful. So let's turn this around, go from the back side. Running out of space here. definitely do with a little more slack. Why are you fighting me so much? Just keep turning it around until we can make it work. That is right at the cusp of being an easy fit. Anything else I can get out of there? Well, this may be a no-go. We may have to get longer belts, some new crimps for the end. This design is just a little too tight. Honestly, I think once I get it in there, it's gonna be so tight it doesn't need any tension anyways. Part way. Harder than you think. Definitely not expecting this much of a fight. So close. You know, we're gonna do something else. We're gonna do this. Not the one. Not the one. You're the one. You're the one. Let's see if we can do this. I hope the rest of these upgrades go easier than this. There we go. That is in. Let's see if we can get this assembly back in. Breaking everything. Oh, that is so tight. really not sure we're gonna get this in here. Definitely not the way to do this, kids. Make sure we get this front T-nut out of the way. Okay. Hey! And we just broke it. We were there, and we broke it. So, this gets come back off. We go right back to the original tensioner. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? No, it was not. It was not fun at all. That was an absolute pain, and apparently absolutely pointless. I had actually run into this on other printers. And you go through several designs before you find some that actually work with the stock parts. Probably would have made more sense just to pull out my spare belt material and replace that. But we'll just go back to the original tensioner. Tighten that guy back up. So I can get this in there a little better so I can see what I'm doing. Yep, that did not work. I was a little concerned about that one single side anyways, so looks like we'll be finding a different design for that tensioner. So back to the original. And where did the other piece go? Oh, right there. You win some, you lose some. Quite honestly, if we get this thing just turned back on and it actually prints without breaking something else in the process, I consider that a win. Or I just keep dropping these pieces over and over and over. So yes, always when you're looking for these upgrade parts, expect there to be changes and try to find something that clearly says works with the original bolts. I'll save this and this for later. Now my hands are absolutely filthy from that bolt. Again, first thing we're gonna do is tighten this guy back up. There we go. Right there's where we want it. Make sure we have the right Allen wrench beforehand. This time. The other one, we can see it. Come on, turn 90. You know you want to turn 90. There it goes. There you go. Line. Go. I really don't have a problem with the set it and forget it belt tensioners. The main issue I've had is, especially one like this one's getting the alignment exactly parallel. Make sure that still works. Oh yeah, that's so much better. Oh well. At least we fixed some minor problems. Everything is just flowing so much easier. Let's go ahead and go to the motor area. We'll start on this guy. Hopefully this doesn't go bad. And this guy. And then we'll move on to extruder and some cable clips. Looks like this video is going to be shorter than I expected. And I apologize for how bright it is in here. Y'all cannot believe how bright it is in here. I have so many lights on trying to get these cameras to work. For HD, they've been giving me horrible quality. So, the old nicotine. All right. So, if I have seen correctly online, we'll take this grub screw out. Oh. And I'm sure somebody's asking, why are you going through all this if you're just going to upgrade it to a switch wire? Well, it's something to do. I like tinkering with printers. I would like the double geared extruder on here, but it looks like I might have to pull that other gear off and then grind one side down for a flat spot, or just forget about it. Alright. I guess we have to do both of these. Get this coupler out of the way. Kind of surprised this is not one of the flexing couplers. Get this motor out. Wow. That was just barely tight. That's kind of disappointing. That would have caused some problems down the road. Let's go disconnect our cable. Don't know if you guys can see that. Of course, it's different size Allen wrench. I hope these guys aren't a custom size. I have plenty of 3mm, but dirty, dirty, dirty. That's a very short pancake motor. These are smaller than regular NEMA 17s. Good to know. Let's see how this is gonna work, see if it fits. I guess it goes that way. That would make more sense. Oh, yeah. And they have cleverly, looks like, allowed us to reuse these bolts long enough. Yes, they are. That is a good designer right there. Somebody who allows you to reuse parts. Although it appears I have to remove the entire assembly to get this down there. I did not think about that. There are multiple designs of this guy. This is probably, I don't know, the first one I saw. It wasn't until looking through some other YouTube videos that I saw the other ones people were using. I already had this one printed, but I probably should have done the other ones. It is probably about 83 degrees in here. I live in a one-room loft and I cannot turn on the AC while you're streaming or recording because the entire unit's in here and it is loud. go. Seems to fit on there nice. Feel like they're threading in. Yep, sure do. Go. Are those two screws in there? I can just drop it on the ground. And no flat spot on that motor shaft either. It's good to know. Once again, this is my first Creality product. I did not know they used the little smaller motors. Let's see if we got some screws that will fit in here. I think we do. These two guys should fit. And these smooth shafts. Some people like a smooth shaft. Wah wah. That screw fits. Using some 3mm by 6mm button heads to go in here just to secure this motor a little better, even though it doesn't really need it. And this one wants to fight me. Looks like it's just barely kicked off thread. There it goes. Should really take bets on how often I'm going to drop these Allen wrenches. They just jump right out of your hands. Alright, there's that assembly. Worked out pretty well. Did require two of my own screws, two 3mm by 6mm, but the other two stock ones did fit. Come off of this original plastic piece. Alright. So it looks like we're going to be removing the whole top. I will say it's very strange to go from silent printers, well, you know, silent except for fans, but to go from a printer that doesn't make any noise when it's printing to the point where you jump up because you're like, oh man, I started that 20 minutes ago. How's the first layer? I mean, that's also a good feeling to know your printers are that dialed in that you don't have to worry about it, but to go back to something from 4 years ago that sings to you. So definitely not sleeping next to this printer. So it's going in a tent just like the others. And once again, also for the switch wire, I'll probably be doing a different controller board. That was another reason I wasn't really concerned what came with this one. Alright, there's that guy. Save that bolt. Looks like this guy is going to come all the way up and off. Probably should have done that from the get-go. That would have made everything easier, especially with dealing with that tensioner. Let's see if this is going to fit. If I can see it. Let's lower the desk and not break anything. There we go. That's a little easier. That's a little tight, but not too bad. Let's try a persuader here. Apparently my tip for making those fit didn't help, so we'll use a little bigger persuader. Let's see what happens. Alright, that got us to there. Don't want to drive on the shaft of that motor. What do I got that I can? Let's try this guy. Neighbors are loving that. Oh boy. It's not the motor rubbing. So yeah, apparently my little tip earlier did not really help much. So do something like that. This will end badly. No, that's too sharpie points. This is horrible. Don't do this, kids. I thought this was going to be way easier. This is so wrong. Hey, but it fits. That is so annoying. Let's do this. It's going down. The big concern is getting it halfway and then not all the way down. Probably loving this on microphone. All right. That was loud and noisy and way harder than I thought, and I hope the screw holes lined up. Probably annoyed all my neighbors with that one. Let's see if the holes line up. This is going to be a pain to get off. I actually probably should have taken the motor off, put this bracket on, then attach the motor. But you know, live and learn. And we did not hit the screw holes. How far off are we? No, we're right on. Let's see if I can get this other one in. Maybe one side's low. Seem to be right on the money. At least looking through. See from this side. I see holes. Get this out of here. See what we can break in the process. Out of the way. I really get the feeling this guy's gonna be just as bad trying to get him on. Look at that, it goes right through. We appear to be right on the money. Here. Wow, that's gonna be tough. That one. Just a hair off. Yeah, we're committed now. Oh yeah, we're just barely a hair down. Let's see if I can get a big flat. Try one of our pry-in screwdrivers. Look like it's been pried. It is oh so close. Probably just going to end up breaking this bracket as well. So close. The main thing, I know this motor is definitely not moving. Really doesn't even need the screws, but I'd prefer to have them in there. So we have two parts now that have not gone as planned. I'm sure it's not over. Can I get under there? Try the old metal spatula. I might have done it. Probably not. I did it. There we go. There's one screw in there. Let's see if we can get the second one in. Tell that one's just right on the verge. Trying to get that caught under the electrical housing. You gotta love that when one screw will go in and the other one won't on a part that's supposed to align itself. There it goes. It's a little tight. It is going in, does not feel cross-threaded. Ah, losing everything. And I'm bumping my cameras. There we go. So that is on. Let's see if we can get this also untwisted a little. I did notice that previously. Some of these cables are kind of twisted up. That's a little better. wheel tensions before I go back on. There we go. That definitely sits much better. That's much more parallel. So hopefully we can get rid of some of these tools we're not going to need again. Alright, get this coupler back on. Do we have the right size? Probably not. Let's go with that one. It is the right size. Alright, does this shaft have a flat spot? No flat spot on this shaft. Make sure we're not sitting on the full assembly, floating a little. That is surprising. I really would have expected a flat shaft on there somewhere. Oh yeah. That is much more parallel. Whoops. Get my camera back. Yep, that's much more parallel. And on the back as well. That should do a little better. Even though I haven't had an issue with that binding, I know some people have. So I'll go ahead and nip that in the bud now. Take this desk back up so I can get my legs underneath. Alright. Next step's going to be this guy. Filament guide. You probably aren't going to be able to see any of it. Bring this down low enough. Oh hey, look at that. Twitch came back. Hey Twitch. At least something is working today. Alright, let's see what this is going to be like. Don't worry, my internet will crash again. What is going to be the best method for this? Yep, it has to go over, screws have to come all the way off. Is there little nuts? No, these are threaded all the way through. That's a plus. Okay, yeah. Well, at least Twitch is still going. I should have really cut that filament and reversed it out. There we go. Very tiny washer. Get some gunk out of there. Actually, we're gonna have to take this all the way up to even get in there. So completely out of camera shot, unless you're looking down. Go. Oh, that's definitely much easier. Yeah, both these have a very tiny washer on them. Let's try and not lose that. They fit through, that's a plus. We like parts that reuse original hardware. So I'll probably have to take that one out of the way. Washer can stay in there, it looks like. We're just gonna leave this piece of filament pulled up in a very bad direction for now, and once we get this thing plugged back in, we'll heat it up and reverse that filament out of here. Do at some point. Well, I say I want to, but since we're going to go to a switch where it's kind of pointless, I would like a anti-backlash nut on here, but not a big deal. Let's get this screw in. Or we can just throw the screw across the room. Ooh, that's not gonna work. Our screw totally missed the washer, which is now standing on its side. The odds of that happening. There we go. There we go. Hopefully this piece works out. I do like it. I have some spare Bowden tube we'll stick in here to feed into this guy, just enough to keep it on track. There we go, because I have seen other people do the reverse Bowden, and they say you need a larger size feeding in, because it tends to bind up. So we don't want it to bind up. We just want to keep this filament on path and not rub up against this lead screw for now. There you go, that one's in. That one's in. Let's see how that worked out. Greasy fingers. You know, the one thing I did not print for this is the little manual turn knob for the top of the Z, which I probably should have. So yeah, once we get this all set back up, that is clearing all of which around. I'll allow filament to come right through here off of a short piece. We'll probably do about 2 inches, just enough to give it some flex and not get caught. That is something I did notice previously when I was printing. It would very much get caught at a 90-degree angle, and I actually had a little bit of skipping from it. So alright, that is on. That looks like we can now replace the top, which I did notice previously was a little loose. So we have it off. Let's see if we have the right size. There we go. Is this T-nuts or screwed through? T-nuts. That one is turned 90. What about that one? That one is turned 90. So, all right. Previous owners did that correct. Get these back in here. Sorry, this is really out of camera shot, guys. the side. Maybe I can get that a little more up. That really did not help anything. Alright, we're back in. That feels good. That feels good. Get our motor power back in. That would have sucked. That is definitely much more aligned. Seems like that was worthwhile, or as much of a pain as it was. So there's at least 2 issues fixed. Alright. So I guess next we will go for hot end stuff. So I'll leave that mount. Actually, first while we're back here, let's go ahead and get some clips in here. I have 2 different style, if I can remember which goes to where. Main thing I wanted to clip onto this guy was his power cables. If I remember correctly, these go around the center. Yes, they do. These just clip right in the center of that 4040. There we go. Make sure our colors stay aligned, because you know, OCD. These don't fit super tight, but they do fit on there. Oh, it's the last one that's gonna fight us. Caught on something. There we go. Oh, maybe. No, they just have one level of connectivity. So, looks like there's what we're getting. Definitely have some slack in them. Might have find some different cables. Is anything being fed through those? Looks like this guy is. And this guy is. Clean that up a little bit. It's not coming through the bottom. Actually be able to get these in there as well. There's that guy. That guy. Now, the question is, can we get these to clip in down here? We cannot clip them there. We can go on the bottom. There is not enough slack to make it. There is one for the end stop. That's what we'll do. We're just going to add this end stop wire under these clips. Those cable chains are starting to seem like a good idea for this guy. So there we go. There's our end stop wire. We're just going to feed it in with the power cable, with the output from the AC to DC power supply. There we go. Now that keeps that nice and neat underneath, where it's not going to rub on anything. That guy just has to hang out. That cable's all neat by itself. Puts all 3 of these together. One thing I don't like is that's kind of pulled through there. Let's see if we can fix that. Take that off of there, out of there. Oh yeah, they kind of got these fed through each other on assembly. That's right, that's a little better. Those 2 are the last problem. Looks like we can probably fix that down the road. What was what? X and extruder. Alright, appears we did not break anything. That's a little cleaner. Yeah, when we remove this hot end, we'll have to pull this back through, because that is caught right there in between those two. So, not a great upgrade, but that does help clean that up a little bit, especially keeping that end stop wire out of the way. Make sure he's in there all the way. Yep. Alright. Let's move garbage out of here. So, next step, I guess we're going to start working on hot end stuff. So that is going to be the BL touch adapter and the new cooling fan shroud. Let's see. Too big. It's going to be a teeny one. Same size. That size being too big. Let's try this one. Right size. Y'all see that? Sorry, I can get it right in there. There's a very loose screw. Would have lost that in a few months. It's a very tiny, very tiny. Is there 4? Adjuster there is 4. Alright, there's our 4 screws. And it looks like one's a little shorter. Let's try this. See how this fits. Is it clear? Biggest concern is it's not sitting right on the heat block. Alright, so it will be right there. It looks like just enough clearance. I do like how thin this is. Hopefully this design actually works. Alright, let's try that. Alright, dimensional accuracy is fitting right through the holes. I like that. Okay, but we have to get that fan line right up. These holes are perfectly sized for the screw. I'm not having to thread the hole with it, with the screw, but it will not slide in by itself or slide out. It is absolutely on it. Okay, what is the secret to getting that to align? Let's get out before we lose them. if we turn this the right direction. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Now that sits perfectly, holds itself in. Before we go too far, we'll just get 2 in here. Alright, let's get down and see how this looks. That's looking pretty good. Barely clears that heat block. We'll see what happens. If it melts it, it melts it. We still have the original. The other upgrade that is going to be happening to this guy before we actually do the switch wire conversion is we're going to put a clone micro Swiss on there, all metal hot end. This one I have had sitting around that I never had any luck with, but I think we will this time. Probably not going to happen today. Alright, there's that on there. Seems to look pretty good. Let's go for the BL touch mount. Not you. It's you. Alright, we've already got some screws and washers that have test fit in. This has to go on first. This goes, reuses the exact same 2 screws. Just right through the cover, back into the original mounts. If I can get it lined up. That one's in. Let's see if we can get this guy in. That part cooler does clear the rear wheel. The downside I'm seeing is it's very hard to get into to hit that wheel adjustment on that eccentric nut, so that might be an issue down the road. Alright, the first part of our BL touch. Alright. Well, that leaves us down to really just one thing we're going to accomplish today, which is getting this Raspberry Pi in there. So to do that, we're going to stick it right in here. It's the only real free spot that we have, so it's going to come right here to the left of the LCD, hopefully. And then I have another couple of clips to clean up those wiring. And that should be it. Hopefully we can turn it back on, make sure it works. And we'll try a test print. and see what breaks. Hopefully nothing melts. And next time we work on this guy, we will get the BL Touch physically mounted after I fix the cable, and the Micro Swiss clone all metal hot end, get that on there. Once that's on there, we're gonna do some tests with it, and then we are going to install a Diamondback that we won from ModBot. Thank you very much, ModBot. Everybody's apparently loving these nozzles. This is a 0.4. Really expensive nozzle. Really surprised to win it. Super nice. Really appreciate ModBot. And we will get a video just on doing that guy once we get him together. Get some of this garbage out of here. Alright. That's going into the first slot. See if we can get this guy in here. This is when we break our Raspberry Pi. Unfortunately, there wasn't something else I could use for this one. Try and loosen him up. Maybe I can get this top rail to loosen him up a little. Wow, that may not go. We may have to go with a different case. Another option, I could stick it right back here on the back side. That's not too bad. That would actually work pretty well. It still gives us access to all the cables and everything. I actually like that better. I'm gonna try and get this on the outside. Ooh. Move our SD card before we smash it. Alright, let's try our motivator. Hammer, electronics, what can go wrong? Go. That's on. Definitely see where it was cleaning up that print a little bit to get it on there. Wow, that is solid. That means if we put that right there, that is pretty much hidden. Was not planning on that. Put this back where it goes. I was actually expecting that cable to get in the way of some other stuff. Or that case to get in the way of this cable when I was trying to route it through here. Well, that's a happy little accident. Kinda feels like it's going in. Hitting anywhere? Nope. We just need to slide you up. What is going on? Oh, maybe I was just very, very off. Sure that's level, because our OCD will kill us. And it is. There we go. And I actually like that. Except we forgot to put the SD card back in. There is the downside to this. Not mission critical, but still. Hopefully there is clearance. Anything worth doing, it's worth doing 3 times. get that in. There we go. Just enough clearance. I actually kind of like that. I'm sure I'm gonna end up hating it down the road, but I like the fact that that card just can't pop right out, end up on the floor. Alright. Those two in there. Gives us a spare one of these. Spare parts here. I'll say this seemed to go better than I was expecting. I was expecting much more failure. So we're not dealing with these two pieces today. Let's just gonna leave this guy and this guy. Get those out of here. Clean up some of these pieces out of here. Definitely need to do some inserts. Keep all this garbage out of these guys. Ah! If you're OCD like me, that stuff is so annoying. Alright, now we're gonna try and get these clips. Hold this cable on. So right there. These are supposed to go snap right on, right over the center. Hey, I like that. Look at that. Do need to disconnect it again. That worked out pretty good. I was fully expecting this Raspberry Pi case to be in the way. There we go. Look at that, guys. Bring this camera back down again. Hey. Clean that up very nicely. I just got 3 across the back, 1 here on the side. It really keeps that cable out of the way. If I could do 1 more in there. Nope, not enough slack to really get 1 more in there. But that will hold that in position. That's much cleaner. Much cleaner front. We'll need to cut this bolt short. I have the motor mount on the back. We have the filament guide up here. We have our Raspberry Pi now mounted in a good spot, safe and secure. We will probably do this with the camera. Like so, maybe. Not too fond of that. I may swap this out with a different camera. This does clip in, but that seems a little risky. I get the feeling that's gonna get caught on stuff. Try it for now. Keep you out of the way. Let's get this one for the front. Definitely need a shorter cable for this guy. But this is only temporary. Actually, we'll feed this around the back here. There we go. Use that coil under like that. All right. So there we go. That was all the parts. Let's see if it powers on. Make sure it still works. Sorry, this is hanging over my camera, guys. Whoa. I'm hitting that one with my belly. Turn it on. Of course, it has the same back feed problem. Definitely need to get one that does not have a 5-pin cutting through here. Or sorry, through this one. Let's grab some nicotine and coffee while we wait. No clipper screen yet. Gonna pull our power from here, our network from here. Already plugged in. Might help if power was turned on. Okay, now I see a power light. I see network lights. See if we broke it. Looks like Clipper's still booting up. It's taking a while. No connection yet. Hey, there we go. We've got a screen. I don't know if you guys can see that. We've got the Clipper screen. That means it booted up. And it probably came up with a different IP address this time because I did change it around. I wonder if we're on 6 this time. Mainsail. There we go. Yeah. It was jumping over into a 15 IP address and I thought that was silly. So I moved it over to something closer to everything else. Make sure it'll home. Mainsail still coming up. This thing is slow. Ah, we closed it. Make sure everything homes. X homes, Y homes, and here comes the Z. It looks like we have success. While we're waiting on that, let's go ahead and heat up the extruder. Make sure we didn't break that. I believe this is PETG in here. We'll go up to 240. This probably means I'm going to have to retune with the ADXL for Clipper at some point since I just did the belts. Tighten them up a little bit. Adjusted that Z. Alright, temperature is at 46. homed. Everything homed successfully. The mainsail's kind of lagging out. It could be this crappy laptop. Let's get a little piece of Bowden tube. Take this piece, which has seen better days. Coming up here. We might go a little further. We're going to do about 4 or 5 inches. Try not to crush this in the process. There we go. Hey, there we go. Home came back. That's a good sign. Stick this guy in here. We're up to 230. Let's try and pull this old filament out. There we go. That was successful. Throw this away. Let's load something off there. Do a test print. Now, what all sure I have on here? Let's see. G-code files. Very slow laptop. Oh, there we go. We have test Z. We will actually go right back to what we were using on this, which was the Tech Bears PETG? Nope, PLA. Let's see how this works out. Z-Rod's so much better. Cut our diagonal. Oh yeah, that does. Oh, that feeds straight into that hole. Alright, same problem. Already had. That is going to be a little bit more difficult getting the filament lined up. We're so much further from the extruder. There we go. That's something I'm definitely going to have to practice. Oh yes, the other mod I did do to this, the other fix. There we go, we were feeding all the way through. So when I tightened up this hot end, I actually did the Ender 3 upgrade with the short piece of PTFE tube and the spacer underneath it. So that took a couple of them to get correct. It seems like it is feeding fine. Let's try and start this. This is just a simple calibration X for the 4 corners. See how off we are. While that's going, stick this back up. Well, it's good to know Twitch came back. I don't know, can you guys see that? Nope, there's stuff right in the way. It's basically just going to print an X right across. So, there's our first problem. Let's see. There's a webcam working over here. Yep, here's the webcam is working. I don't know why we don't have scroll bars. Mainsail. Definitely need a mouse for this laptop. See if the refresh fixes that. Man, that laptop really slow. It ends at 214, 215. Yep, 215. Heat bed just hit 55. See how our prime line does. I don't see anything yet. It's going down. There it goes. Oh yeah. That gunk out of the way. Definitely tell this corner is a little loose. Back loosened up a little bit. Yeah, that is too close to the heat bed. Yeah, there we go. Webcam is working. Fan is on. See if this parts cooler melts. This corner is still a little close. So is this one. That's what I like about this simple first layer X. You can really tell if you were too close. Just barely. Same thing with there, just barely. All right, let's let it go, see what happens. Camera locked up. Okay. So we'll just go straight to that side camera because it looks like my downwards cam locked up a while back. stuff up while we wait. Oh, that's much better. That is holding that at a much better angle. Completely clears the lead screw. Very nice, like that. Yeah, that is much better. I think probably for all of these upgrades, that is my favorite. It looks like that one's probably going to make the biggest amount of difference in printing quality. I really did not have an issue with belt tightness. Yeah, we are still too close. That first layer is very squished. Parts cooler seems to be working. Has not melted yet. Definitely see that side's too close still. Just barely hear it grabbing this little piece of that. Let's go and pull that out of the way. There we go. And we're done. Don't know if y'all can tell. You can definitely see too close here, too close here. Perfect back here, perfect here. Pull this off. But doable, considering how far those are at the edges. Let's get this to pop up. Go. Gonna have to spend a little bit cleaning up this skirt. There we go. Alright, there we go. Upgrades mostly complete. So next time we work on this guy, we will get a replacement belt tensioner for the X, and we will get the BL Touch installed, and we will swap out this hot end for the Swiss Micro. So that leaves BL Touch and Swiss Micro all metal hot end clone. So then we can then do some test prints and then try our Diamondback. So I'll put all these spare parts someplace safe, so when I have to put this back how it originally came. Let's garbage out of here. Now we have some spare parts. Oh, and the other thing is filament cooler, or filament oiler. I'm not sure how you guys feel about this, but I know when I went to one, changed my life. That was definitely an upgrade. I have seen arguments on both sides on whether it is a requirement or not, whether it helps. Definitely too much oil does have problems with sticking, but layer adhesion does really seem to get a little better with it. And first couple prints really lubes up this PTFE tube. Get this clip back in there. So there we go, guys. All right, I appreciate it. I'm gonna go turn on the AC and eat some dinner, and then we will see you guys next time. Appreciate it.